Okay, so I wanted to talk a about how many times a team has been to the Stanley Cup Final since 1967. Um, or rather 68, because I'm not counting Toronto in it because so it's all the years after. The Utah Mammoth, I should probably spell that correctly. So, zero recently established as a relocation team. So there's a lot of exceptions here. The Vancouver Canucks have been to the finals three times. I believe um, 82, then 94, um, then 2011, and it really seemed like the odds were in their favor in 2011, but they did not win that one. So there's that. But let's start in alphabetical order here. So Ducks have been to the finals twice. They've lost it to the New Jersey Devils, and then they won it in against the Ottawa Senators in '07. Boston Bruins, five, and they've been back to the finals only five times, and you'd think that there'd be a little more with Bobby Orr, but no. And they have six total Stanley Cup wins over their tenure as a franchise. And you'd think for a centennial team, they'd have a little more, but no. The Buffalo Sabres have been there twice, and they've not secured it. And 1999 was the last time they were in it. The Calgary Flames have been in it twice. They lost to the Canadiens in '86, but then they won it against the Canadiens in '89. So they had a well-fought victory. There was twice for the Hurricanes, and then, or I want to get back to this one though. I think I might be wrong on that one. Let me check here if I got that right. Google Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, I'll get back to that one. Blackhawks have been back three times since 1967. They have won it all three times, but they've only have six Stanley Cup championships. Avalanche, every time they've been in it, they've won it. The recent one was 2022, 96, 2001, and then 2022. In Stan. Trying to correct this on the fly here. Okay. Yeah, they were in it twice. They lost it in 2002 against the Detroit Red Wings, but they won it in '06 against the Oilers. I just wanted to check that one. So Hurricanes, two appearances, one finals win, and as the Whalers, they never got there, so no exception on that one. Blue Jackets 0-0, established in 2000, nothing special there. Stars only won it as the Stars, but appeared twice as the North Stars, 91 and 81, I believe. Yeah, that's right, 91 and 81. Okay, Oilers. Red Wings have made it back six times, but they've won it 11 times total. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, Oilers, nine Stanley Cup Finals appearances, but they've only won it, let's see, five times. So, and that's only with either Gretzky or Messier on the team. Have they won it? We know they've recently appeared in it 2 years in before, but right now I'm not liking what the Oilers are doing. Eight Final, yeah. Okay, Panthers, four times, 2023, 2024, and 2025. They've appeared. and I believe 90 and 96 too, where the Avalanche won their Stanley Cup. So, um, and they came very close in 2023 to winning it all back then. So there's that. LA Kings 3 times have been to the finals 3 times, and they've lost it once with Gretzky in '93. So even though Gretzky got back to the finals, he could not beat Patrick Roy because he always struggled against Patrick Roy. Montreal Canadiens 10 times since 1967, and we really shouldn't be surprised. I also should make a note here, an original 16, comma, also including the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. Now, with the exception to that, and also with the Tampa Bay Lightning, that was during their COVID season where they did win 3 Stanley Cups, but things definitely did make an impact. But heck, they got to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row. They were the almost dynasty. They earned those Stanley Cups in my eyes. Minnesota Wild, an expansion team that's only played 25 seasons. Remember, we had the lockout, so that's why I said 25. Nashville Predators have only been there once, lost it to the Penguins. Nothing there yet. Um, New Jersey has been there 5 times. They've only won it 3. New York Islanders have been there 5 times in a row and only won it 4 times in a row. New York Rangers won it twice since 1968. And they've only won it once since 68, but they've had a total of 4. So just needed to update that real quickly. Ottawa Senators, this iteration of the Senators has only been there once. There was a different Ottawa Senators, but we are not counting that in the NHL era. Flyers have been to the finals 8 times, right? And you got to think to yourself, this team is about 60 years younger than the Maple Leafs, or 60, 50 years younger than the Maple Leafs, or what was supposed to be established when the NHL took off. And you're thinking to yourself, dang, 8 times. And the Maple Leafs didn't even make it once. Came very close in 2002, but just could not get it together in that sense. Uh, so there's that. Penguins have been there 6 times. They've lost it only once. They've won it 5 times total. Crosby and Lemieux back in the day. Crosby won it, has been there 3 times on his own. Lost it once in '08. Then he's won it in '09, 2016, and 2017. Lemieux won it in '91 and '92. Should have won it in '93, but his back was injured, and the Penguins never got back there until 2008. Ooh, that's a mouthful. San Jose Sharks, 2016, made it with Joe Thornton and Pavelski and Marlowe, but got nothing because Crosby was that good. Seattle Kraken, latest expansion team, has nothing, has only been around for a few years. We'll wait to see what happens there. Now, the Blues are an interesting story. They've been there 4 times to the finals, 60s and 70s and such, and then finally in 2019 they win it and get their 1 win. Lightning have been there 4 times in 2022. Like I said earlier, they lost it to Colorado, and thus they only have 3 Stanley Cups total. Toronto Maple Leafs, the video that this is mainly about, has won it 13 times. 13 dang times. And you have to and you have to really take into consideration everything too of what's happened too. I mean, it really does seem at times like they are just like there's some divine intervention that's really preventing them from winning a Stanley Cup final. You know, you have to take it, you know, yeah, you have to take this all in with consideration at times. Utah Mammoth. Now, this is the first iteration of the Winnipeg Jets. Now, you want to know something else I noticed on doing this spreadsheet? Every team that has been established in one area for at least 30 years has at least made it. Now, this franchise has moved, it's been totally revamped. It's been in Arizona, it's been in Phoenix, it's been in Glendale, it's been, where the Sun Devils play, it's been in Tempe, it's been in three Arizona cities, one Canadian city, and in Utah. So we really do not have a fair assessment of the Mammoth on where they're going. 82, the Canucks get in. Um, they their first Stanley Cup Finals, but they lose to the Islanders. 94, face the Rangers, they lose there. 2011, face the Bruins, they lose again. And two times they burn their city down from rioting. Golden Knights have been there twice. They are not even a decade old yet. They've been there twice, won it once against the Florida Panthers, and they had no business winning that Stanley Cup final in my eyes. Washington Capitals, same thing. But they actually defeated the Golden Knights in 2018 to secure their first one. And just making it to the finals in your first year they've been the only expansion team to do that. And the Kraken got in to the playoffs in their first couple of years, but nothing there. And both iterations of the Jets had zero. And if I could maybe fix that up, if I can actually spell iterations. Let's see here. All right. Yeah. So highlighting this line here, I'm going to highlight it, blue for the Maple Leafs if I can find it. Okay. So there's that. So let's take into consideration of the Maple Leafs. This has been a team that has, I get it, Canadian dollar, inflation, and you get more of a tax benefit when you're in South Florida than you do in Toronto. Also, the weather's better, and Marchand, that's probably what attracted Brad Marchand in the first place. Yeah, I'll take a salary deferment, not pay the taxes anyway, lose a little bit just to get a couple more Stanley Cups under my belt. I mean, like, I think I know what he's thinking there. And you do get a little bit of bonuses getting into the playoffs and such and all that. So he's really not losing that much at all if he wants, for glory. So he's willing to sacrifice a little bit of money to get a little more glory. So I do understand that, mostly. When it comes to the Leafs, they are struggling to. They really should have had been at least in the finals in 2025. I think that they should have found a way to beat the Panthers then. And in 2023, when they were saying, "We want Florida," the Maple Leafs fans, "We want Florida, we want Florida." I made an entire YouTube short on that and making fun of them. It's like, no, you do not want this team. Sorry, no, you do not, because they knocked off the President's Trophy and had the Boston Bruins just held off the Panthers for one more minute, and then they would have faced, then the Leafs have to go into Boston and they have to go play them, and Boston still has home ice advantage. No, the Leafs have home ice advantage, and they still lose. They still lose. And they got to the second round and only to exit like in 5 games, too. And they came very close to getting in 2002, came close even before in 93, but Gretzky should have been called for a high sticking. And then Gretzky sends the Kings to the finals against the Canadians, and the Maple Leafs have not been back since 1967. I feel for Toronto fans. You have gone through so much as a sports city. You've won the World Series in 92 and 93. You came very close to winning it all in 2025. And it really did seem like divine intervention. Just like things that should have gone the other way did not go the other way. The catch with the Hernandez and Rojas or and then colliding, or Pajes and Hernandez colliding in the outfield, and Pajes still making the catch. So, all that nonsense, and a ground rule double ball that got caught underneath the wall that made no sense to me. And it's like, why was the dirt patched that high, sort of thing. Uh, but but I get that you're going through so much. If I can get the score up right now of the Capitals, my Capitals were beating you uh, 3-2. I don't know if they got the empty netter or what. They did. They got it. Tom Wilson got his empty net goal, 13th on the year, 42. And you want to know what's worth about that? Like, I'm gonna be watching Steve Dangle, and it's like, and I love his reactions too, sort of thing. But he's gonna be like, "You're up 2-0 in the Hold on, let me game center here. They were up 2-1 going into the third. They were up 2-0 at one point, and they still found a way to just give up 4 goals. And they had them on the ropes too. I thought they were gonna, like, okay, looks like Leafs are winning this. It's fine, sort of thing. I'm not gonna be upset. No, the Caps won, and it's like, you've got to be kidding. It's like, wow. Like, I would, if I'm a Toronto fan, like fire everyone in the front office immediately, sort of thing. Because this team should be better. You still have Austin Matthews and you have Joseph Wall. And I mean, maybe Wall's not the best goalie, but you should be finding ways to win games, even against the Washington Capitals, sort of thing. But I do think that it's going to take, when the Maple Leafs get back in to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think that you're going to see like like everyone's going to be rooting for them in the same way in 2016 everyone was rooting for the Cubs. And it took them, let's see, 45, took them 71 years to get back to the World Series. And 71 years to get back right now. Do you know how long it's been since 1967? Almost it's been almost 60 years. It's been 58 years. Going to be 59 with the next one, and I don't expect to see the Leafs in this one. But it took the Cubs 71 years to get back in, just to get into the World Series, just to get into the World Series. And it was fortunate that they won it too. And the Cleveland at the time Indians, I had them winning the whole World Series. Even before the playoffs started, that was my prediction. I didn't even expect the Cubs to go that far, but they did, and they won. So I do think at one point that the Maple Leafs are going to get something like that at some point, but I really do feel for Toronto sports fans at times. But I do think that you're going to need a shakeup. You're going to need a different coach, because I don't think they just can hire right in Toronto. I really don't. I mean, I mean, I'm gonna highlight everything in blue right now. We're gonna take a head count right now. Blue um didn't make it in yet. You know, blue there. Seattle Kraken is also blue. Utah is going to be blue here, here, and both iterations of the Jets are blue, like blue dabba-dee dabba-die. So here we go. We have one, two, three. Hold on. Yeah, one, two, three, four, five, six. Six teams out of the 32 teams have not made a finals appearance since 1967. Now we'll take into consideration that the Kraken are only a few years old. The Jets came in from the WHA back from the 70s, and we will count them in the 80s. So they have maybe 40 plus years on them. Eh, I'm sorry. No, this one was an expansion team. This was from 1999. Sorry, this is the expansion team Jets, 26 years in the league. Okay. Mammoth, same, different deal. It's been about four, if you really want to consider it back to the original days of the Winnipeg Jets, then I would suggest that you just count it like 40 plus years right there. Wild there, Columbus, and they're like, and really like, you have to consider there are teams that are shorter in tenure than the Maple Leafs that have made it on multiple occasions. The Flyers are a prime example of this. Two, just made it, not necessarily won it, but made it. And the Islanders, and I mean, let's do a sum of all the time of the amount of times the other teams have done it equals sum. Let's do all that. So I'm gonna come up here. The Ducks 99 times, or actually, between all the other teams, 99 times total have these teams been in. 99 times, and whether they've been in once or twice or 8 times or 10 times, 99. 99 times between all these other teams they've been in there, and not one other time has it been the Leafs or any of the other six that didn't make it. Now, you have to grant exceptions to the Kraken, Wild, and Blue Jackets, absolutely, but the Maple Leafs, Mammoth, and the Maple Leafs and the Mammoth are the only two long tenured teams who have not made it in the recent days, in the days after the original six. That is still like not good parity too. Um, Baseball, I guess every other team has made it except the Seattle Mariners at one point or another, but you gotta like at some point, these will get filled up, and I do think that the Wild are doing good, so they could get in at this point. But I really do think that there's got to be, if you want to consider what the salary cap is in Toronto or how we're going to be taxing uh, teams in Canada, I think that you need to take into consideration of everything moving forward to get it in there at this point. The Leafs, the Leafs. our disadvantage and everything and all the tax stuff and the tax benefits and compared to Florida and Vegas and what would have been Georgia even at the time, but Georgia lost the Flames and the Thrashers. And it's really a shame too if you think about it. It is going to be good for hockey if the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup, right? It just is going to be that simple. Now, the Minnesota Wild are third in the Central Division. And right now, the Mammoth are actually in playoff contention. So you have to take that into consideration. The Blue Jackets are still above 500, but there's a lot that can change. They've played 24 games. So a lot could still change there. What are we looking at here? The Leafs. Leafs are below 500 right now, and the Jets. Let's take a look at the Jets. Jets are above 500, but nothing yet. And the Canucks are below 500. Nashville is essentially the worst team in the league, and the Flames are also below 500. I think that you need to start reconsidering what you are doing, Toronto. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've got to get a front office that is going to manage your finances better and do some sabermetrics or something because Austin Matthews can carry you. He's not going to have 70 goal seasons moving forward. I know that, but he's doing pretty well, and he'll probably be a Hall of Famer, and he'll probably be up there with a guy like Matt Sundin. But if Toronto really wants to win a Stanley Cup Final, they're going to need to spend as much as they can, and there is a hard cap in the salary cap in the NHL, but you've got to find that value if you need to call up your AHL guys or call up your CHL guys. You do that, and you give those little guys a chance, get them on the fourth line, and get them to be, and develop your players coming out from the AHL and call them up, and you might make mistakes when you bring them up, but it would all be good if it meant you get your team to a Stanley Cup final and then win. All right, this was a long one. I hope you liked this little comparison video. And with that being said, everyone, take care. Take care.